Welcome to my channel. Today's Reddit story comes from a user. I was always the quiet one. Growing up, I was a quiet kid who kept to myself. My parents had very traditional gender roles for me. My mother was a housewife and my father was a worker, and I was supposed to follow in his footsteps. It wasn't a big deal because I liked being a worker too, but it did mean that I didn't have much time for friends or socializing. One day when I was about 8 years old, I remember staring at the ceiling of my bedroom for hours, thinking about how no one knew me. I wanted to have a friend, someone who would listen to me talk about trains all day long. I knew this would never happen, so I gave up on having a friend. I went to sleep that night feeling sad and alone. The next day I woke up and the sun was shining through my window. For some reason, I felt happy. I got out of bed and went downstairs to eat breakfast. Then I started reading a book about trains. After a while, my dad came into the kitchen and sat down across from me at the table. He looked at me for a moment and then asked, "What are you doing?" I told him I was reading a book about trains. "Why are you reading a book about trains?" "Trains are for workers. You should be reading something more educational like a book about history or math." I sighed and put the book down. "But I like trains." "That doesn't matter. You shouldn't like trains. Now go clean your room." I got up and went back to my room feeling angry and upset. I threw myself onto my bed and started crying. As I lay there crying, I heard a knock at the door. My dad opened the door and walked in. "What are you doing?" he asked. "Nothing," I said, wiping away my tears. "I just don't feel well." "Stop being a baby," he said. "You're not sick. You're just being a baby." Then he closed the door and left. I continued to lie on my bed crying until my mom came in. She sat down on the bed next to me and asked, "What's wrong?" "I just want to have a friend," I said. "A friend? Why do you want a friend?" "Because I'm lonely and I want someone to talk to who likes trains." She stayed silent for a moment. "You can't have a friend," she finally said. "But why?" "Because girls don't have friends. Friends are for boys. You should want a boyfriend instead." "But I don't want a boyfriend." "Well, you should want one because girls need boyfriends. You will find one someday, but it won't be today." She got up and left the room, and I was left lying on the bed feeling more sad and lonely than ever. Fast forward to present day. I'm still single because I've never found anyone who puts up with my crap. The thing is that I don't even care anymore. Sure, it would be nice to have someone around, but I'm fine being by myself. I have a job and a life, and I don't really have much time for dating anyway. Plus, I'm a bit too picky. I'm looking for someone who is intelligent, funny, and good-looking. But most importantly, I want someone who likes trains. Yeah, that's right. I'm looking for a train lover. It's hard to find a guy who likes trains these days. Most guys are into sports or video games or something. It's rare to find a guy who likes trains, but I know they're out there. I just haven't found one yet. Maybe someday. In the meantime, I'm happy being single. I live in a small apartment by myself and I work all day, so I don't have much time for dating anyway. When I come home from work, I like to relax and watch TV or play video games. I also like to read about trains, of course. I have a huge collection of train books and magazines. I spend hours reading about different types of trains and train history. I also like to collect model trains. I have a set of model train tracks that I set up in my living room. I love watching the little trains go chugging around the track. It reminds me of when I was a little boy and I dreamed of having a friend who liked trains as much as I did. One day I was reading a train book when I saw an ad for a train convention. The convention was being held in a city about an hour away from where I lived. I decided to go. I'd never been to a train convention before, but I thought it would be fun. I bought a ticket and then I started planning my trip. I wasn't sure what to expect at the convention, but I was excited to meet other people who loved trains as much as I did. When I arrived at the convention center, I was in awe. There were so many people there who were just like me. We all stood around talking about trains and looking at the cool displays. There were all kinds of trains on display, from model trains to vintage toy trains to full-size working trains. I spent the whole day at the convention center, and I had a blast. I met so many cool people, and I learned so much about trains. I even got to ride on a real train. It was an old steam engine train. It took us on a short ride around the city. I felt like a kid again when we pulled back into the station. I made a few friends at the convention, and we decided to get together again soon. One of my new friends invited me to his house for a model train night. I accepted, and I brought over some model trains that I had recently purchased. We spent the whole evening setting up our model train tracks and running our trains around the track. It was so much fun. We talked about trains and other hobbies, and I learned that one of my new friends also liked video games. We made plans to get together again soon and play some video games. For the first time in my life, I felt like I had found my place. I had found a group of people who accepted me for who I was. They didn't care that I was a bit odd or that I was really into trains. They were just happy to have me around. I felt like I had finally found a group of friends who truly understood me. We all had our quirks and we all had our passions, but we accepted each other for who we were, and that meant more to me than anything else. As the years went on, my group of friends and I got closer. We started hanging out together every weekend. We would play video games, watch movies, and, of course, talk about trains. We even started taking trips together to different train museums and train shows. I was so grateful to have found such amazing friends. They were always there for me when I needed them. They listened to me talk about trains, and they never got tired of it. They even started to share my passion for trains. Now, many years later, I am still close friends with the group of friends that I met at the train convention. We have all grown older and our lives have changed, but our friendship has remained strong. We still get together every weekend to hang out, and we still talk about trains. It may sound silly to some people, but I am so grateful to have found a group of friends who share my passion for trains. It has brought so much joy to my life, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. So if you're out there thinking that being passionate about something that seems silly to others is weird, don't believe it. I am living proof that you can find people who accept you for who you are. All you have to do is keep trying and never give up. Hope you enjoyed the story. Down in the comments below, tell me what you think of the story and suggest Reddit stories for future videos. Also, give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to see more content like this. Thanks for watching.